I'm Lindsey.
I'm Maddie.
And this is Go Off Twin.
Drink to that. So, this is our first episode ever.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's been a long time in the making.
We've been planning this since the beginning of December.
Yeah.
Trying to get everything ready.
Yeah. And before that, we are always coming up with some sort of idea, something to create together.
Mm-hmm. Ever since high school.
Yeah.
We tried to create raps. We're not going to say they were good,
Mm-mm.
but we are going to say it let out some trauma.
Yeah. I was going to be the next Megan Thee Stallion.
Mm-hmm. And I was going to be Billie Eilish.
Yeah. Really thought we were going to get out of our population 10,000 town with our rap skills.
And we did. Not with the rap skills. Of the rap,
but we did.
We did get out,
Mm-hmm.
and that's all that matters.
Mm-hmm.
And breaking the ice, I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Lindsey. I'm 23. I am married. I am an old married woman at this age.
Love to see it.
And it's kind of crazy thinking about me being married because I moved from we're currently in the state of Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
I moved here when I was 16 years old. It was sophomore year. I was leaving out of sophomore year. I was going to the most important years of my high school life.
Very important.
And it was the most traumatic years of my life.
Mm-hmm.
I fell into a really deep depression. I got into a really bad relationship. And a lot of things have happened since our move to Louisiana. But the most important thing is I'm back in Missouri. And I'm connected back with my besties. Oh, even though you move from a state, there's going to be things that happen because life moves on. You all go through stuff, especially in high school. But the thing that matters is you connect back, and you might fall apart, but it's that connection that comes back, which comes into play on Twin Flame.
Mm-hmm.
Because even though you might have that distance between that person, it's the connection that comes back where nothing's never changed.
You're always going to connect again in some way, whether it be good or bad. It's meant to teach you a lesson, whether it's fighting or... It doesn't always have to be romantic. It can be a big breakup, but it can be just a platonic love, too. Yeah. Love to see it.
We love it.
Yeah, I'm Maddie, and I'm 23 years old. I was in the same hometown that she came to. When did you come? Middle school?
7th grade.
Yeah, middle school. Not much in our hometown. There's a Walmart. There is cows. And there's Casey's. Mm-hmm. Shout out Casey's Breakfast Pizza and chocolate milk that got me through 4 years of high school. Mm-hmm. I just had one brother growing up, and my mom and dad stayed in the same small hometown. We both had pretty strict parents.
Oh yeah.
We'll just use the word strict for now.
Yeah.
But sleepovers were not a thing. Driving with other people was not a thing.
Public places only.
Mm-hmm. Tracked at all times.
Yep. Boyfriends were a no. Boys were a no. It still happened.
Dressing up for any reason was like a no. Mm-hmm. Like, how dare you show a little shoulder like this in my household would never go. Never.
No.
Yeah.
Makeup. My dad hated it. I barely got to wear makeup. I think I was allowed to wear full face of makeup when I was 16, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then you see, like, kids nowadays, and they'll be 8 years old with a full face.
That's actually crazy. I'm not judging, but it's actually crazy.
Yeah.
You're too young.
Yeah.
You need to enjoy your youth.
Mm-hmm.
At those ages, we were digging in the dirt, making mud pies. We were ugly as hell.
Yeah.
Pimple
making
face.
Soup. Did you ever do that? Like, make soup in the bird bath?
Yeah.
Yeah. With, like, little rocks and
mix
dirt.
up potions and the shampoos. Yeah. We were doing that at that age.
Yeah. Where did all that go? Now people making TikToks
and doing some provocative things, but we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So basically, we want this podcast, like we said before, we want it to be an escape for you guys. We're here to talk about all the dirties, all the things that not your normal podcaster talks about. Trauma. We're going to be trauma dumping.
Big thing.
Yeah. We're going to be trauma dumping.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a lesson.
Yeah.
Our podcasts aren't just going to be trauma dumping. We're hoping that you learn a lesson out of each episode.
Yeah, we're just gonna be real. Like, people don't tell you that your early 20s is a wild ride.
They really don't.
No.
They don't prepare you for this.
Mm-mm.
High school doesn't prepare
And
you
it's
for
a
it.
lot.
Mm-hmm. It is a lot. So Go Off Twin, we made up. It was actually your mom who created the name.
Shout out my mom.
Yeah.
Shout
out,
when we were
Mama.
in the works and drawing up, we were thinking of names, and then she gave us the name Go Off Twin, and we had no idea what the meaning was, how to tie it into kind of what we wanted to talk about, and then just everything was going right, lining up the right way, and then what came to mind was twin flames.
Yeah.
I don't know if any of you guys are into like karmic connections and like spiritual kind of things, but twin flames are somebody you kind of meet and you might separate and you might come back together, you might fight, you might break up,
they're always
have these great adventures,
in your life.
but they're always in your life. Doesn't always have to be romantic, it could be platonic, but the biggest thing is it's there to teach you a lesson. So our goal is kind of have you guys be our twin flames. We're going to give you some lessons, we're going to give you some tough love and tell you things you don't want to hear. We might even fight, but it's all for the better.
Yeah. Not everyone's going to like our podcast because we're going to be talking about real stuff. We're going to be talking about everyday, real life. We're not going to kick around it. We're going to tell you the hard stuff. But we're hoping our audience is going to be those who really want to benefit out of our podcast and those who can relate to us, because this podcast isn't just for our audience. We're also making this podcast for us. It's going to help us reflect back on how we moved forward with these events in our life, with these, what do you want to call it? Obstacles that we face during our 20s, because our 20s is hard. It's hard stuff out here.
Yeah.
We're learning, we're losing, we're doing a lot.
Yeah. And, you know, nobody really tells you or prepares you for what goes on. Developmentally, you know, you're making these connections that you want to last forever. You're losing friends, you're getting big girl jobs, you're quitting school, graduating school, furthering education. It's just hard.
You're losing family members, you're losing. So going to our backstory and what we did in our hickory town.
Very small. Again, Mexico. Very, very small. Nothing but farmers and potholes.
And crackheads. The nickname for it is Mexico. My family, actually, it's a funny story. My family is the backbone of Mexico. My family is the crackhead dominators of Mexico. I'm not proud of my family name. Luckily, I don't share their last name, but I do share their blood. And yeah, that's a whole nother podcast.
But I feel like everybody has like a few crackhead uncles and aunts out there. I think everybody has a few. I have a few. Just a thing, you know? Just crackhead aunt. Don't really talk to her, but she's there.
Yeah, they're definitely there. So going into our backstory, we thought we would share some sneaking out stories, because growing up, we were not allowed to go anywhere.
I think everybody has snuck out at some point at one or another. It's just a thing.
Yeah.
And then when you're in a strict household, it's just...
You gotta do what you gotta do.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
To enjoy your high school, that's what you gotta do.
And like, I know for us, it was even just to hang out with friends. Like, it wasn't even like to necessarily go to a party all the time, but it was just to hang out.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
We literally had to sneak out to hang out with our friends. That's how strict our parents were.
Yeah.
So I guess the first time we snuck out together, we were freshmen.
Yeah. I think so.
And we were in JROTC. Do not judge us. That was a era of ours.
Yeah, let's touch on JROTC. So in this small town, we won't say where, but there was a military school and there was a program at the high school where you could go over to this military school, all boys, by the way. We had no business as girls going to an
foreign boys
school, but it was a JROTC program. I don't know if any of you guys know what JROTC is, but it's basically the nerdy military boot camp.
The military wannabes.
Yeah. Don't actually join the military, but they walk around and say, give me a salute.
And I think my main reason for joining JROTC was you guys and the benefit of leaving high school during school hours.
Yeah, that was cool to kind of go across town and, you know, attention.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Attention from boys. Like at the
Oh
time, it
yeah.
was like, oh yeah, no, but it was attention for sure. Yeah.
We're not gonna diss JRTC because we did make a lot of good memories in JRTC. We had a good squad. We had a couple questionable. We won't say their names, but they were very, very questionable.
Yeah.
And we do not know them to this day. We will never know them again, and I just don't want to know them.
Yeah.
We also made really good connections. Speaking of connections, our captain and sergeant, we became really close with them because we were troublemakers.
And they were good mentors.
Yeah.
I think it was like a father figure that we were receptive to that wasn't like our own dads.
Yeah. They were definitely father figures.
Yeah. Yeah.
We still talk to them to this day. In fact, we are going to one of their houses this weekend for a little get together.
Yeah.
So that just shows you how close we got to these people. Like Maddie said, they were really father figures. Growing up, I wasn't as close to my dad. I am close to him now, but I did see men in that role as a father figure, and they really helped me get through high school.
And you can still have a dad and be okay with your dad and have a different father figure you look up to and like maybe you connect with better. Like just because somebody's like your blood doesn't necessarily mean that they're the best person to get through to you.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, JRTC was a good it was a good era for us.
Yeah.
We were definitely nerds. People definitely judged us, but we did not care because we have a lot of good stories out of JRTC. We've had a lot of we've had a lot of fun, let's just say that. And we've gotten into a lot of trouble, but that's what made our first 2 years of high school the best because we made the best out of it. We put ourselves out there and we just had fun. We didn't care. We went through our first 2 years not caring.
Yeah.
We did not care.
You didn't care what anybody thinks. You just were you.
We did us, and that's all that mattered. We had the most fun, and that's what made high school fun. Even though I didn't have the best last 2 years, I had the best first 2 years, and that overlooked my last 2 years of high school.
Yeah. I actually remember, like, while we're adults and we're having our sophisticated glasses of wine.
Yep.
The last night before Lindsey left, I think I was going to nerd camp for the summer. There's like this scholar program you could go to in high school, and you go to the university that was like an hour away for 4 weeks and do nerd classes. Yeah. And then coincidentally, Lindsey was also leaving like the same time, and so we had like a last hoorah get together. You know, taking pictures out in the street,
drinking.
Yeah,
we took a couple shots.
Had no business. I remember. So my parents again didn't let anybody over, but my grandma's house was like the spot because she didn't care. She'd be in the front room. We could be in the back room, do whatever we wanted. She would not care. And I remember my grandpa. I don't know if it's still a thing, but older people and like hot toddies, like he had a bottle of Irish whiskey behind the door that he would take if he got sick. And we had the bright idea to be like, this is the night.
We took it with orange juice.
This is the night. Sunny D.
Oh yeah, it was
Sunny D. Use some mouthwash cups. We're like, okay, we're all gonna take a shot. We're all like whispering in the bathroom, like trying
we
not
have
to
a video of it.
Yeah. And we're like, okay, we're all gonna take this shot. And then we took the shot, and then I don't know who it was, but sprayed it all over the bathroom.
It was me because I laughed. I was me because I laughed.
Everywhere. So we're like laughing and like trying to like be quiet, and then we're trying to like scrub the stuff off the walls.
We made a tent on the floor with the blankets as well. We took a couple shots under the tent as well. We took a lot of photos. We went out in the street and acted like hooligans. Yeah. It was a great hoorah.
With bright highlighter. I don't know why that was such a thing in 2016. Was like
so bright.
Anastasia.
For what?
Highlighter. No other makeup, just bright.
Who were we trying to blind?
Yeah.
It wasn't.
That was a weird time.
Yeah, it was a very odd time. But it was a great hoorah. It was an emotional time, but it was a great hurrah.
Yeah, that was rough. X also died.
Yeah.
XXX.
And then after that,
while I was at school, it was like a lot going on.
Yeah. Juice WRLD died a couple years later after he made in the song that he won't live before 27.
Yeah. Also, Angry Grandpa. Shout out Angry Grandpa.
Who's that?
Oh my gosh. If you have not watched Angry Grandpa on YouTube, that show, his little videos he does, that man is me.
I'll have to look him up.
I'll have you if you haven't looked at clips, you need to look at clips. He's just me. He's like an angry, or was, rest in peace, an angry old man. And his son kind of vlogged everything, recorded everything. It was great. I still kind of watch his videos.
I'm gonna have to look him up.
It was nice. Yeah. And then there was another time. So with these boys at this
God, we need a drink.
academy.
By the way, we're not going to say any names because we don't associate with them anymore.
Yeah. Bless.
Well, some of us don't.
Yeah, we just crave the attention, and those boys stood no chance.
They really did.
They stood no chance.
Oh gosh. Oh, this one night. I think it was in the summer. No, it was before they graduated. Mm-hmm. So the senior class at this academy, we talked to a lot of the seniors because we were little hoes, you know, we talked to them, whatever. It was the night before their graduation. Mm-hmm. And
all their families come in town before graduation, because a lot of these kids at the school were from out of state or out of country, usually out of country. So their families would all come in like the night before. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Me and Maddie had the bright idea. Wait, I don't remember whose idea it was, but we had one of our best friends who were in the academy.
Super, just platonic. Was a great guy. Was always kind of looking out for us, telling us if any of the other guys were bad or had no business being around. He was a really good guy.
He was really a girl. He was a guy's girl. He was a girl's guy. I hope he's doing good to this day. We love you.
I need to reach out to him again.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. In fact, he actually lived in the state that I moved to. So we tried to connect at one point, but it just wasn't a good time. Anyways, we had the bright idea to sneak out with him. We were just fooling around, driving around. And that was a good into the semester as well. And then
you had another interest.
We don't have to talk about that. We don't got to talk about that. I ain't talking about that.
It's important.
Why is it important?
Because I learned how to drive. So when we snuck out, we all got picked up, swooped up by our.
By the way, I lived in the country, but crap nowhere. I lived in the middle of nowhere, and he drove all the way out to pick me up.
This used to be some secret mission shit. Like, we'd have to park all the way down the gravel road, and she'd have to hike all the way from her driveway.
I literally had to hike
the gravel road, and we'd go all the way down, and we'd have to go.
And my windows were high up, so I had to jump out of my window. It was Mission Impossible. Yeah. It was literally Mission Impossible. And my parents were really light sleepers, so I had to push the window up. Like, I knew the perfect angle to push it up to where they didn't hear the window crack.
The real pro, you gotta push it like in tune with the snores.
Yeah. And my brother also, his bedroom was right next to my bedroom, and he was always up past bedtime, so he definitely heard me. So he's an OG for not calling me out. I snuck out of the window. I lived in the middle of nowhere. It was very hard.
Yeah.
But
picked us up. Lindsey had things to do, you know. We won't go into details, but she had things to do. So we dropped her off at a house, and then this guy friend, at the time my dad was also really strict and didn't want me to get my license. So I don't even think I had a permit.
No, you didn't.
I didn't have anything. And then I'm driving with this guy friend, and he's like confused, like, you don't know how to drive? And I'm like, wait, like, should I have my license? Because I didn't know any better. I was just like, my dad said no, so I'm not driving. So we went on back roads. Mine just like 2 a.m. I also don't understand how we never got like questioned by police. That's like a small town for you, because
they were always scoping.
We had curfews. Like, I think curfew was midnight.
Oh, I thought it was 11 at that night because it was 11. A weeknight.
Oh yeah. Anyways, we drove the back roads all the way to Walmart. Oh. And he was like blasting Spanish music. And then in the Walmart, I was having the best night of my life. Like, Lindsey was probably going through some trauma, but I was having a great time. We went to Walmart. He paid for every kind of snack I wanted. I got me a little beanie. We got matching hats. I think that's what it was.
Yeah, you guys did.
We had matching hats.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so we're like taking our little time, eating our little snacks. We're texting Lindsey, like, you want us to come pick you up? Yeah.
I said, yup. Be on your way now.
Yeah.
That was a good night. And he was a really good friend. He really watched out for us in that academy because there are a lot of weird guys.
Bad.
Yeah.
Like preying on women. And that's probably why they were in an academy in the first place. But
doing questionable things.
Yeah.
One of them that I used to talk to, he actually got kicked out of the academy. So there was this guy who got kicked out of the academy for doing drugs. Me and him used to talk. He wasn't weird, but I knew he was doing weird stuff. It was like some illegal type stuff, and the president of the academy kept it low, so no one knew about it.
Yeah.
And after he got kicked out, we still stayed in touch, and he told me the whole story. I don't know where he is to this day. He got into some weird people over in Dubai. So I hope he's okay, but yeah, a lot of questionable men.
Yeah. And just a little more about that school. Like, on paper, it looks like such a fun place. Like, we're going to send our young boy to this school, and he's going to learn discipline, and he's going to not be around, like, big cities, and he's not going to run off. He's going to learn skills. And then in reality, these boys were doing drugs.
No,
drinking.
Literally.
They had something called, like, a purge night. Because this school had dormitories, so they stayed, like, 24/7. And it was basically a night where they would just beat the crap out of each other and actually, like, choke people.
It was actually like the cadet, like the leaders who would do that. They would do that to the younger cadets because they thought they had the power to do that.
Yeah, that's crazy. I couldn't even imagine.
They would record videos of it, and we would see it on our Snapchat. We thought it was funny at the time, but as adults,
it's like that was totally not okay.
Traumatizing.
Yeah.
For the people who were involved in that. Yeah. But that's a little backstory for that good old academy.
Yeah. Not an academy, then we can talk about high school.
Yeah. High school was also we had a lot of questionable. We didn't have any like crazy people. We had a lot of questionable men in high school as well. Here's another story. So I was talking to this very country boy. He was extremely country. He was not my type whatsoever.
I don't think you can have a type in a small town.
Yeah, you're probably right.
To be honest, this small town isn't very racially diverse. It's very white. So I don't think you had an opportunity to know what your taste was.
But he was very country, and I used to talk to him. I don't know why, but I did. I used to sneak out with him, and this one night, it was our last night sneaking out. I never did it again, but I snuck out with him, and he basically asked me to do him a favor, and I told him I would not do it, and he tried to blackmail me because at that time I was sending him provocative photos, and he blackmailed me.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
Like, be safe. Be internet safe. Don't show nobody your new or your tatas.
Especially like men who are older than you.
Yes. That man does not care.
He really doesn't.
And don't put anything out there that you don't want to see come back to bite you. Yeah.
Classy. Word classy. Yeah. Be a classy girl.
You can show a little something, but no nip. Don't give it all. Don't show and tell.
But basically, he blackmailed me, and that was really traumatic because he was going to tell everybody in the school because he was a popular guy, and it got shut down. I told my dad. I didn't tell my dad to the extent that I snuck out with him and I sent him photos. I just told him that he threatened me. Anyways, and my other friend, he was also popular, and he shut that crap down. Thank God for him. I don't associate with him to this day. If he's watching this, he probably isn't. I think he's a piece of crap. And
it's men like that too. You see, like, settle down, and he's cheating on his wife, has a couple kids, and he's like, I'm a girl's dad, or no, you're not.
It's always the men who have daughters.
Yes. And I think that's, karma, whatever's way of telling you, like, you're gonna learn how to treat a woman right.
Yeah. You're going to see what your daughter goes through.
You're going to see what you put these women through.
And you're going to feel like crap.
Yeah. I think that's the best karma. any man who treats a woman like a piece of shit,
Mm-hmm.
here's a daughter. Are you going to teach your daughter how you've been teaching these women? And if that's what it takes to learn, I mean,
all power to him.
Yeah.
I pray that he learned, but I doubt it.
Yeah. It's just, yeah, it's disgusting, really. Had no business. And, like, again, too, men who are like that are so small-minded. Like, you're still in the same small town. No college, no training.
3 years older than you. Why are you acting
Nothing.
younger than me?
Yeah.
Why do the men act
just stuck in
so much
the
younger?
same place and stagnant? Have nothing going for them. You have kids young, you know. I'm not a hater of like small town love or high school sweetheart, but there's so much more out from your completely white hometown.
And there is.
Yeah.
From experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, do you remember that time? Speaking of white men, we snuck out one time for what we thought was going to be a huge bonfire. Oh. Think of like a nasty country boy. Just looks dirty.
Shoes.
Do you know like men who wear slides and their toes are always hanging over the slides and touching the floor and their toes are also dirty? This is this kind of man. But he was raving about this bonfire. Everybody's going to be there. We're going to have beer pong. Oh, yeah. It's going to be crazy. And we're like, okay, like that sounds great. Like we can go. Like, we'll sneak out and we'll both go. So we got one of the girls from the JRTC program to pick us up and drop us off at this party. And we go to this party that was at this house. 2-story, trashy house, long driveway. There is one white foldable table, one stinky man, another stinky man, a JBL speaker, and nothing else.
Oh, wait, there's one more guy there who was cool, but he only popped in for a couple minutes.
And we were promised beer pong.
Yep.
But there was maybe 4 red Solo cups.
There was
no ping pong balls.
No
there
ping pong ball.
Caps.
I truly believe they did that on purpose.
Yeah.
They were weird like that. Yeah. I truly believe they did it on purpose.
And back then, we were still like, you know, having a good time. Like, oh, this is free alcohol. And like, oh, is this like what it is? Because we didn't know any better because we didn't, you know, go out like that. But just like looking back, it's like that was disgusting.
And they definitely did that on purpose.
Yeah.
This big bonfire turned into 2 men sitting by
in city limits. No fire.
Yeah.
No fire there. JBL speaker.
No food.
Why
would you not have marshmallows?
Coronas. Also, for like a party beer, why is there Coronas?
We peed in the city limits bush because we couldn't go inside for some reason. Why could not we go inside?
I think the parents didn't want drunk people inside.
Oh, that's right.
So they knew about this whole, 4-person get together. Yeah.
They definitely did that on purpose.
It was super lame. And I remember, like, we got dropped back off home, and I had to crawl back in the window. And then I think he texted us the next day, like, oh, like, we'll have another one. It'll be so much cooler. And it's like,
right. We never went back to his house, by the way.
Yeah.
And he never had a party. He was wanting to talk, but not do anything. He was all bark, no bite. He used to act like such a big head. Like, he would down everybody he knew.
And now he's in jail.
Oh, is he?
Drugs, theft, lots of theft.
Oh.
Same thing with his brother, lots of theft, lots of drugs and breaking in and stealing things, which kind of just, you know, adds up a little bit. Once a POS, always a POS.
Yeah. Those just showed what type of guys we had in our town.
Yeah.
Just those are one of the many stories that we have for high school. We could do a whole episode about high school life because I really enjoyed our 2 years, even though we had stupid events like that.
But it felt like we got like a lot done, like as far as like as a friend and, you know, connections and stuff like that. It was big moments for us.
Staple moments that we won't ever forget, that's for sure. They were solid, eras of our life that will never be erased from our mind. Mm-hmm. We'll be remembering these moments in our 90s.
Yeah. We'll always think of dirty mud toes hanging over the slides, mm-hmm. and stinky
pea bushes, yeah. creaky windows,
yeah,
hiding in the bathroom with other men.
Yeah. And also, like, sneaking out, like, I don't know how my parents didn't notice, but I would have bruises, like, on my forearms constantly.
Your legs.
And on my legs, mm-hmm. from having to crawl. Like, it was maybe, I don't know how high up. High enough that you had to, like, really jump up there and drag yourself inside. Mm-hmm. Bruises all the time. Oh, what were those bruises from? I'd be like, oh, I don't know, I fell. No questions asked, nothing. But y'all wouldn't let me go see my friends. I couldn't have a sleepover.
I think they definitely knew.
Yeah.
Because I think, they might not have known because we were pretty slick. Yeah. Because they were strict.
Yeah. I remember I had a hickey one time.
I forgot about that.
The movie theater. The movie theater is the spot. Had no business seeing any men, but as everybody does, sit in the back row. I think we were like, this is so TMI, but I think we were making out when was it the first Moana? I think it was when the first Moana came out. Why are you in the back messing around to Moana, a PG movie?
I think a lot of people did that.
A PG movie. Mm-hmm. They're saying the "You're Welcome" song, and we're in the back making out.
Yeah. Saying "You're welcome" with our tongues.
Yeah. So I had a couple hickeys, and I remember I got home, and I'm like trying to cover it. I'm trying makeup. I'm looking up like color corrector and the cold spoon method. And I remember my dad saw it, and he's like, "What's that on your neck?" Yeah, I don't know. Like, no, what's that on your neck? I'm like, oh, I shut the door and it just like hit my neck.
Yeah.
It hit my neck. I'm clumsy. Like, I don't know what happened. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. You're not going to question that, but you're going to question when I wear an off the shoulder top. Okay.
They knew.
You knew. Come on.
They knew.
It's okay, but like, you knew. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But in the end, like, it wasn't worth it.
No.
We were messing around with some ugly men. But again, that boils down to daddy issues.
Mm-hmm. Having the need for attention.
Just craving attention.
Because we were lacking that in our home life. We were lacking it. So we were looking for that in other methods. Yeah. And that's when we fell for these nasty, terrible men.
Doesn't matter, like, who it's from, just attention. Like, I feel like as far as people... I wouldn't even call them relationships, but just people you've encountered. Mm-hmm. It started off really, really ugly.
Yeah.
And it was really, really traumatic. Ugly for a long time. Mm-hmm. Like probably at least, 2 years?
Yeah.
But also the biggest thing about like figuring out your taste and who you like, and if the men in your town are ugly, leave your town, leave your city. You probably just grew up in an ugly city with ugly, nasty, racist men. Mm-hmm. Just move your city.
Yeah.
And I moved to a different city where my university is, and it's like, oh my gosh. Now I'm embarrassed because I was kissing and messing around with these ugly men. Like, I can't even tell my friends about it. Mm-hmm. Like, you make new friends in college and at bars, and it's like, oh my gosh. Like, I remember I used to date Trevor. He was so ugly. And it's like, girl... That's ugly. Like,
let me not tell you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember the dude like in Monsters Inc. that got stuck in like the suction machine with his lips?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. He looked better than some of the men I've made out with. So.
Yeah, ugly men, but we learned our lessons.
Yeah.
And we're with these great men. Mm-hmm. Maddie has a really supportive person. Out of all the men that she's been with, I've never seen her truly glow with someone that she's with right now. Mm-hmm. There's a glow that you get when you're with your person. Yeah. And we both have that glow. We both have that happiness. Happiness weight is a true thing. I used to be a lot skinnier than this. And when I got married, I gained all this pioneer woman weight. And eventually I'm going to shed it off.
Homemaking material.
Yeah, I'm happy, and we are making our home. Mm-hmm. And I'm hoping... there's a stage in your relationship where you get to that happiness, and you're so comfortable with it because you're not used to having that happiness, where you don't want anything to change. So I got to that point where I'm really happy, and I didn't want anything to change, so I let myself go. It's normal.
It is normal to get into a relationship and gain weight. Like, that's your body being not in defense, in fight mode.
You're literally relaxing.
You're relaxed, yeah.
That's literally what happened. I became so relaxed that I didn't focus on anything else. I just focused on being in that peaceful era because I wasn't used to that. And I'm working on myself to get back into the peaceful era and loving myself as well, because all of the trauma brought me to not love myself. And finding my person, I've learned peace, but now I need to get back into loving myself.
Yeah. If you want to know if you found the one, the biggest thing I figured out is when you're stuck in a trauma response and you're stuck in this mindset, like, I'm not pretty and I just need to keep my head down, I just need to do this, the right man will come and take care of you. He will let you take care of you and your needs so you can really bring your femininity out. When you can't bring your feminine side out, you're playing this masculine defense role all the time. And I always say, like, when you find the right person, like, you'll like the color pink. I hated pink. I hated bows. I hated dresses. I hated everything. And now it's like, I want to do my hair and I want to do my nails and I want to wear the color pink. But it's like, you have to find the right person to kind of bring that out of you.
And you truly, before, like, you were truly a tomboy.
Yeah, I was a
full-on tomboy.
Anytime I wanted to wear, like, something girly, it was like, I didn't feel comfortable in myself. I didn't feel confident. I'm like, no, I just need to wear t-shirt, pants.
RBF, you had the straightest RBF. Like, ever. Like, she would win the contest for having RBF.
RBF bad. Like, you want to know if I'm mad at you, you couldn't tell. I'd have to tell you. You just assume. I think that led a lot of people to, like, not want to talk to me. But I just RBF.
Closed off. You were really closed off.
Yeah. When you're thinking so much in your mind, it's hard to have emotion on your face. Yeah, that was a time. Yeah. So more about, like, the love of my life. When I moved to Colombia, I again was with an ugly white man. Broke up with him, and then I was like, you know what? I am so mad that I was with this ugly man and I let him hurt me so bad. So I hopped on Tinder. I was on Tinder for like 5 days. First time ever on a dating app. I was like, okay, I'm gonna make my matches. Made like 5 matches, hopped off, and was talking to a couple guys, but this one guy kind of stood out in particular. First of all, he wanted me to come over that night. Ladies, if a man asks you to come over that night on Tinder, why do you think that's material? So he asked me to come over. I said, no, I'm good. But he stayed consistent. He texted me, oh, no, that's fine. He was going home for winter break, and he was going to stay in touch. And he FaceTimed me every day and was like, let's watch. BoJack Horseman was a big thing. I think this was 2020, so like COVID time. We're watching BoJack Horseman. He's calling every day. I'm still like messing around with these other people I matched with. He comes back into town, and I was messing around with a guy the night he was supposed to come. Super embarrassing. He didn't have a place to stay, and he was like, please, like, I'll pay you. Like, can I just stay with you? Like, I don't get my apartment keys till like the next day. And I'm like, oh yeah, like, I'm busy, as I'm like in bed with another man. Anyways, I eventually made up with him, and it was just so different. Like, I feel like we met and we got together, and then it was like, okay, he's coming over every day.
It was so fast. Yeah. I remember just checking in on you, and like, your relationship developed so fast. Like, it was true meant to be.
Yeah, like, it wasn't, he just came over and like didn't leave. Like, when people say that, no, like, I mean it. Like, he came over and just didn't leave. Like, I don't even know. We say our anniversary date is the day we met, because we don't know when it transitioned into like, okay, like, you're my boyfriend, you're my girlfriend, like, we're not seeing other people. It was just kind of crazy. But, you know, he's caring, he's honest, he's real. Also healthy arguing. I've never been able to argument or express how I feel in a relationship and not felt like it was going to cause like this big thing and he's going to hate me, he's going to leave. It's very like mature and adult. This is how I feel, this is how we're going to fix it, that's all I have to say. Not some drawn out thing, and it's so much different to what I'm used to in relationships, what I was used to at home, and it's not like some big screaming match. And that's great. Yeah.
He knows how to handle you.
Yeah, he just knows. Like
all the other
knows.
men that you were with
Yeah.
did not know.
Yeah. And I met him here in this state. He is an athlete, so he kind of travels around. So he's actually from the state that my mom was born in and where her dad lives. So I met him here, but he lives 15 minutes away from my family in this other state. And it's like, what are the odds that I meet you here out of all places? Yeah, it's been kind of crazy, but it's great. It's been 4 years.
She really has.
Yeah.
Like, if you guys knew Maddie before,
I did not look like this. Jewelry was not a thing. Makeup was not a thing.
She was still beautiful, but she didn't have the happiness.
It was very manly.
You could tell, like, there was no happiness. Yeah. Like, you were, like, depression. Like, in all seriousness, you could see depression on her face. And she has a glow about her.
Yeah. You know the girls that would post, like, on Snapchat of them crying? That was me every day.
Yeah.
Every single day. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Lindsey met her husband.
Oh, yeah.
During a rough time, too. That's another thing about, like, karma and, like, situations. The right people will come at the right time and when you need them, for sure.
So me and my husband met in 2019. I moved to Louisiana in 2018. And we met the end of my junior year. I had just gotten out of a really weird relationship with this guy who was very bad for me. And yeah, we met on Bumble. So I was trying Bumble out.
Shout out Bumble.
Yeah, I was trying Bumble out. It's kind of the same story Maddie was in. He kept trying, and I was ghosting him. I ghosted him for like 5 months. And he stayed consistent, and I was like, He was at that point, he was very nerdy. He was not my type at all. My type, who knows? My type in high school.
Yeah.
And he was older. He was a college boy. So I was like, I don't think my parents are going to let me talk to him. But yeah, so we ended up talking. And when we met, it was the summer before he was going back to Australia to meet his family. So our first date was at the theater, and I had to be supervised by my friends. My parents made me bring a couple friends that were couple, and they made them watch the movie with us. And my parents dropped me off at the date. Cameron was a grown-ass man. A grown-ass man going to a movie theater with a 17-year-old being chaperoned. And I respect him for going through with that because it was very embarrassing for me. I can't imagine how embarrassing it was for him. We got out of the movie. He tried to kiss me, and I got really shy because I was in front of my friends and my parents were there, so that did not happen. And then we fell off a little bit, and then he went to Australia. We started talking back again, and that's how that started. The relationship was really slow because we were long distance. So it was hard. We were long distance for 2 years of our relationship. And that man has patience that I've never seen before. Like, I've never seen a man have as much patience as my husband does. And that's why he's really good for me, because growing up, I did not have any sort of patience in my life. Everything was very balls to the wall. So having someone who was very tender, patient, was different for me. So I think that's what threw me off at first, was him being so patient. But yeah, we're married now. He's still a nerd. And looking back, I would not be dating a nerd. But it's crazy how things work out when you think someone's not your type, but you end up marrying that person.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to give the good guy a chance. You can't always go for bad boys.
Don't knock it, just try it out. It's all about like feeling too. Like I wouldn't say I was necessarily like attracted to like his type. Like I didn't know what I really wanted, but I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I like it here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The good guy will always win. Stop falling for those bad boys. The good guy will always win. And he will always sweep you up off your feet. He's my Prince Charming. He literally saved me. Like, he saved me in so many ways that I will never be able to make up to him. the next year, when my first year of college, I had found out my mom had gotten cancer. And that was a really rough time for me. Our relationship was put through so many obstacles, and he still stayed constant. So, like, get you a man that stays constant. They never switch up. Switch up is a red flag.
Yeah.
Like, you have to pay attention to those little things that happen in your relationship.
Yes.
Switching up, the being impatient, the slander. You have to pay attention to that. Give the good guy a chance.
Yeah.
He may be a nerd, but my nerd is my
if
husband.
He's treating you right, yeah, that's all that matters.
Mhm.
Like, forget like how somebody looks or like height or weight or like whatever. It's really just how you're being treated and how you want somebody to take care of you at the end of the day. Who's going to take care of you on your deathbed? If you're sick, you're hurting, you can't take care of yourself, who's really going to take care of you? Do you think this 6'8" hot ab Tinder guy that's only texting you after 12 p.m. is going to take care of you?
Nope.
No, you're going to be left in the bed to rot. Like, that's not who you need to look for.
And they're going to move on to the next woman.
Yeah,
who
and
gives
it's
them a
okay
piece.
to like mess around and you want to mess around, but if you're truly looking for somebody, you really need to pay attention to these things. And nobody tells you in your 20s, like, okay, you need to think about kids, you need to think about who's going to take care of you, you need to think about marriage. But at the end of the day, like, this is the sort of relationships you want to form.
And speaking of relationships, you may be having these flings, and that's okay, but karmic connections is a true thing. And when you're intimate with these people, you have like a string. I don't know how to describe it.
That's another thing.
It's
like,
soul ties.
When you start like being promiscuous and messing with people, nobody tells you about soul tie connections. And then you really have all this trauma and this hurt built up from these people you were with.
And it's gonna age you. Like, having those fun moments is fine, but when you're constantly doing that to avoid what needs to be talked about, what you actually need in your life, you're gonna take 10 years off of your life doing that.
Yeah, you're being spread in so many different places, and you have all these different connections with people, and it's just hurting you in the long run. And that's a lot of like shadow work and like healing you have to do on your own, because a lot of people don't tell you too, when you get into a relationship, a healthy relationship, how much trauma you really have. You don't really think about that.
And that's when you know you're in the right relationship, because you start reflecting on that.
And they give you the safe space to kind of heal and be better. And it's not you're broken or you're doing too much, you're being too much. It's really just, this is how we're going to help you get over this. Yeah. And that's really the right person. Yeah.
So that's our backstory on our relationships. I'm hoping we can do another podcast just reflecting on
how more into detail.
How we've overcome these obstacles coming up to our current partners and hope our forever partners. I truly believe that the guy I'm with, that's my ride or die.
And if you don't think that he's your ride or die, or this is the he or she, or this is the, this is it. This is who it's gonna be.
If I'm not with him, then I would rather be off the planet.
Yeah, you need a dip. Yeah, you need to leave the relationship. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, guys. So I really hope you, reflecting on us talking about relationships. I know this episode was just us introducing ourselves, but I did hope you learned some sort of lesson out of relationships, and how you can overcome these, how you can move on. This podcast is an example on how we moved on from our trauma and how we're healing. So basically, our hopes for this podcast is to release an episode every Thursday. Because I'm moving out of state to Dallas, we will be spread apart. Yeah. But our plan is to have at least one episode a month where we are together and recording a podcast together. Yeah. But then we are hoping to have an assigned week. So let's say Maddie does a podcast.
You'll listen to me yap for 1 week, and then you'll listen to her yap, and then we'll try and have one of us together.
So it'll be like a unique setup. I really am excited for the potential for this podcast. Even if we don't get famous, we're getting the benefit out of it.
This is for us. This is for us, and this is for you that listen. This is kind of our space. Who cares, Who else is watching?
It's all that matters is that we appreciate the podcast, and we're learning from it, and you're learning from it.
So, if you were brought here to listen, we're going to teach.
And if you are here, you're meant to be here, because this is our first podcast, and you are meant to be here. So with that being said,
yeah,
I think we will say goodbye, guys.
yeah. And you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Go Off Twin. I'm sure you can find it. And we'll probably throw a TikTok or Instagram out there. Same thing, Go Off Twin, the one and only. Just keep an eye out.
And we will see you guys later.
Yeah.
Bye, twins.
Bye, twins.